Greetings, viewers. Welcome to another time-lapse process video by yours truly, AzizDraws. This week, or third week of Black History Month, aka February, I decided to go for one of my favorite TV shows of all time, The Boondocks. I say that, but I haven't even watched season 4. I have to give it a shot one day. Seasons 1 through 3 are one of my favorite of a show of all time, but that's for another conversation, isn't it? But yeah, this week I was like, you know what? Let me experiment. Let me try and draw some of these characters, because I noticed I haven't really given myself a chance to mess around with the Boondocks characters too often. There's been a few situations I've drawn Huey and Riley, but other than that, I haven't really explored that world too much. I decided to kick things off, pun intended, with Bushido Brown. My bad. Hold on. Grandmaster Bushido Brown. And as you can see in the other thumbnail sketches, I had a few ideas with him mostly being in action, him like kicking or punching, or because, you know, he's a martial artist. But I figured, wait, let me try another composition. Let me try one where he's chilling, one where he isn't in action, one where he's kind of relaxing. And it turns out most people liked that composition the most. So when I was streaming this on twitch.tv/AzizDraws, when people were given the chance to select which one they wanted me to try out, that was the one that was most voted on. And I personally liked it myself too. So, you know, it was just a easy decision to choose this one over the other ones. This one was really nice to try out because the whole objective, like, this is one of those few times I'm drawing something and I can almost see how it looks like at the very end. Like, I almost envisioned this, like the way you're seeing it, I envisioned it in my head. I was like, I need the light to hit him this way. He's going to be wearing these clothes and it's going to be these colors. Like, it's one of those few times I was given the chance to like really almost execute to the T what I wanted in my head. You can see there that light I added on the leg. I wasn't sure at first if I should do it. I didn't know if it made sense. But once I added it, I felt that it added this higher level of realistic lighting that I try to capture with my pieces. Once I saw that light hitting those jeans, I said, yep, I'm keeping that there, because I felt it really helped further this sense of light is coming out that window, kind of like at the golden hour time. But I think, yeah, this one I think I had the most favorable results with my pieces this year, at least in my opinion. Like, this drawing this piece and seeing it turn out the way it did, it was like really nice to see come out this way. But yeah, that's how I started off this week with the Boondocks, just this realistic drawing of Bushido Brown. But yeah, I liked it. I liked the fact that it was, you know, fully encased in a scene. You know, got the couch in there, curtains, window, everything. It's like, you know, it's part of a room. Doesn't just feel like an isolated, you know, subject with no background. But yeah, the next drawing I had was I'm sorry, it's just you do Black History Month drawings and you put a guy like Uncle Ruckus on your video, you're asking for trouble. But I decided to put the old man in here, the Uncle Tom. Now I felt, you know, what better way to antagonize Uncle Ruckus than to have him on Black History Month. That's just, it makes perfect sense. Just have him in the month. He hates this month, I'm sure he does. But I got inspired from like this one episode where Uncle Ruckus is talking to Granddad, and Granddad usually asks Uncle Ruckus to cut his grass. But for some reason, actually we all know the reason, but I'm just gonna pretend we don't. For some reason, Uncle Ruckus doesn't want to cut Granddad's grass. He decides to go cut another neighbor's house, someone of different color. Oh man. But yeah, and he's, you know, he's cutting grass, and this is the uniform he's wearing. It's like this all white with brown boots and the hat. And I was like, you know, kind of contrast. Has this nice contrast with his like character design. So I was like, you know what, I'll do it. I remember somebody commented that this is the one character that loses from my no face rule. I could see where they're coming from with it. The most iconic part of Uncle Ruggus's character is his eyes, because he has one lazy eye and he has this one eye that's just ready to pop out of his socket. So I was like, yeah, there's that part of it. I mean, there's other noticeable features of Uncle Ruckus for sure, like the fact that his hair is straight. But it is what it is. So I decided to try and make reference to his character in other ways, make it evident that this is in fact Uncle Ruckus. Have him, in a suburban backyard cutting grass, because he's known for doing a lot of um like small gigs and like small time jobs and like blue collar stuff. So I thought it would be fitting to have him in this kind of situation. Uncle Ruckus is known for having like multiple jobs. He has hundreds and hundreds of jobs throughout this show. But that was my interpretation of that character, Uncle Ruckus. And the next guys, this one was fun. It was Thugnificent, one of the greatest rappers of all time. One of the greatest rappers of all time. Don't let anyone change that opinion. Don't let anyone tell you different. You can see what I'm doing right here. I'm kind of blocking out the ones I don't want, because I thought to myself, maybe if I try to like play this little game of me Xing out the compositions I don't want. As I also was streaming this one, I figured, maybe that might help with the process. But yeah, we ended up with this because in my head I had this one idea where it's Thugnificent. He's kind of looking up, and he's kind of basking in his glory. You know how it is, and he's got all this bling on him, and I wanted that bling to like be noticeable but not too in the way with the drawing. So I kind of have that going on, and then I decided, you know what, I'll add the two crew members he has from Lethal Interjection, Mactastic and Flow Nominal. Like the whole character of Thugnificent and like the character surrounding it is really funny because they get these real world actors to play them. Like Buster Rhymes is Flow Nominal, I believe, and Mactastic is Snoop Dogg. So it's just funny. The actor for Thugnificent, he's not a rapper or anything, but the character itself is a parody of Ludacris, as you can tell from the puffs. Like back when Ludacris had puffs as his like appearance, as his attire and fit. But yeah, it's always funny to see like the Boondocks make reference to pop culture, specifically, like hip hop culture and black culture as a whole. Whether or not they make fun of it, but it usually is in parody or in light. But it's always cool to see it. There's the bling, you know what I'm saying? You gotta make it shine. Gotta make somebody's eyes hurt, you know what I'm saying? Make it blind. Funnily enough, if you go to my Patreon, there's actually a version of this drawing where it's like on an album cover. So if you're a member of my Patreon, you'll be able to see that. Go ahead and take a look at that. I think it's pretty fun to observe. But next drawing I did was of Thomas Dubois. Tom, I can't remember his middle name. I think you can just call him Tom. But I didn't want to just draw Tom. I felt that was kind of weird just to have Tom. He doesn't really do too much outside of his own self. Like he works as a prosecutor, but I felt like we needed to add something so that people related to him a little bit more, because Tom is kind of like the butt of many jokes. He's kind of the one that we look at and we're like, like, like I don't know about you. That's kind of like, at least that's the vibe I get when I watch the show. And so I was like, let me add Jasmine. That's something that I feel like a lot of people could relate to, the father-daughter relationship. And Tom and Jasmine clearly have like a strong father-daughter relationship. So I thought it would be a nice addition to put Jasmine in there. It's kind of like this scene where, Tom is coming back from work and Jasmine's like rushing towards him, and, he's kind of holding her in her arms type beat. I was like, you know what? That looks wholesome enough. I like it. I think other people will. We'll see. But yeah, that was kind of the idea behind it. Nothing insane. And I wanted the background to not really be a thing because I wanted more focus on the emotion or the interaction between these characters. Because I felt like having it this way, that's just what you're focusing on. Nothing else is distracting you from the relationship. It's like, hey, this is what I want you to focus on. Um, but yeah, nothing else behind that. Got your caramel skin Thomas Dubois. You know what I'm saying? What do they call him? Oreo. Man, this show is hilarious to me. Still is. It's been years since I started watching it, but it's always fun to revisit it. So, hear me out. I did something a little different this time around. For the last 3 days of the Boondocks week, I was going to do 3 drawings, and that ended up happening. It just so happens that those 3 drawings are part of one drawing as well. That's why you see this really long canvas right now. So the plan was to have Granddad Day 21 of February. No, not 21, sorry. 19 of February. Day 20 have Riley. And then day 21 have Huey. But they're all part of the same composition. They're all chilling at like the Woodcrest Park or something like that. So that's what I ended up doing. I had Granddad sitting on a park bench. He's chilling. He's kind of turned around, looking back at his grandsons, making sure they ain't messing around or doing anything silly, involved in any shenanigans. And you got Riley. Riley's just kind of chilling. He's just laying down on the grass, looking at the clouds. He's cloud gazing, really. Um, and then you have Huey. Huey likes to hang out typically by a tree. If you watch this show, you'll see that Huey tends to hang out by a giant oak tree. So I wanted to make reference to that part of his character in this drawing, under the shade and all that. So you see here I'm shading Granddad. This I determined the light source pretty early, just because with canvases this big and compositions this big, it's very important to establish your light source from the very beginning, because big pieces like these, it'll be more noticeable when you start to get away from that light source or when you start to deviate from it. So making sure like the light source is always consistent. I started with the right because that's where the sun hits the characters the most, and then it'll dissipate. But I have to make sure that everything was looking straight. Even the clouds, I wanted to make sure they followed the same light source. So yeah, people were saying they like the cloud shapes, which I'm glad to hear about. Me and clouds is, I don't know, I really like how clouds are, because they're very free. They're not requiring precision from you per se. They just want you to like be expressive. Clouds just want you to like just be like, hey, just whoosh. Like that's the best way I can describe it. It's just whoosh. That's how I think. That's what I think about when I draw clouds. Just that wispy and quick movement of the line. That's usually how I go about my clouds. These very like smooth and like quick lines, because that's how I feel clouds are. They're very free. Here we have Riley, by the way. Riley, it's hard to tell it's Riley right here, because one of the determining features for Riley's character design are his cornrows, but is being covered by the hat. The reason why I added the hat, though, was for 2 reasons. One, I wanted to imply that they're chilling at the park in the fall. Like the setting for the Boondocks is always the fall. There's always orange and yellows and reds on the trees. There's always leaves falling. So like I wanted to make reference to that, but I also wanted to show that they're wearing proper attire for the fall. So you have Granddad wearing his hat, Riley's wearing his beanie, but it's also a reference to Riley's character design in the comic strip. In the comic strip, he has this kind of beanie he wears every now and then. He doesn't wear it very often in the show, if at all, to the best of my memory. Huey's design doesn't really change from the comic strip to the show. He's still got that giant afro. So there was no worries there. But yeah, he's chilling underneath that tree, getting some shade. You see that logo, that watermark placement. You like it? You like what I did there? You see what I did there? Yeah, yeah. Um, but like I said, you can see if you look throughout the canvas, I'm still maintaining that light source. I'm still making sure the sun is hitting from the right side, and then going to the characters, and then hitting the right side of those subjects. Here I am making sure that the grass looks like grass. Uh, and I wanted to try. I always like it when I get the chance to do this, but I also wanted to try and make sure that while the sun is in fact hitting Huey, I want to make sure the leaves that are from the tree he is sitting on are also casting shadows onto Huey, so that way it looks like he's actually sitting underneath the tree. He's being hit by the sun, but the tree is also blocking some parts of the sun from him, just to add this sense of realism for the lighting. But beyond that, overall, I just wanted to make like a nice composition involving these three characters, have them, relaxing, chilling, just for once. A lot of the time in the show, they're bickering at each other, they're yelling, or getting into arguments. But this one time in the fall, Huey, Riley, and Granddad are chilling in the park, and just vibing and acknowledging each other's existence.
Greetings, humans. On behalf of AzizDraws, I, Model A2Z, would like to thank you for watching this video. If you want to continue supporting AzizDraws, be sure to follow him on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch.tv, where he will be drawing live on Mondays and Wednesdays. If you want to continue supporting AzizDraws even further, be sure to go to his Patreon, where you will have access to watermark-free drawings and potentially even Clip Studio paint files to have access to the process and layers of each drawing. Until next time, humans, farewell.